So I really think that when we are in the spotlight, when we are people who want to be, you know, we're big on business, we're big in the social media space. You know, I know you've done acting, I've done singing, we've been on television. Your life is now open for scrutiny. Little decisions that you make that the regular Joe down the road makes every single day. But when you do it, it becomes a big news story. So I was going through a hard time in my previous marriage, and I had stepped out in my marriage actually, and there was a video of me and another person, and it became like this thing that was on the internet, which actually I didn't even know about until someone sent me the link, I guess the same way they sent it to you, and you're like, oh, that's actually me. You know, I don't really want everyone to see this. By the time I had seen it, there were like 30,000 views, and I didn't even know what to do. I just was like, first of all, how did this get here? And secondly, oh my God, this number is growing like every minute. Like the more, and I just didn't know what to do. And I think the first thing I had to realize was that actually that was me. Like, I think people try to deny things and be like, oh, it's not me, or I didn't do this, blah, blah. But I think the moment you own up to being human and own up to the fact that we make mistakes and we do things that we shouldn't do, and you own up to that, I think for me, being someone who's a confident person and a queen as well, is understanding that I have the power to make choices, and that not every single choice I make is going to be amazing.
Everyone, today's episode is brought to you by our very own Lucrative Business Academy. Now, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you can see all the future episodes. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you enter the giveaway so that you can get all the amazing gifts from all of our guests from this season. Enjoy the episode. Is it possible to grow a lucrative business in spite of negativity in the media? Well, my next guest today on the Lucrative Lady Talk Show is the amazing Rache-Yvonne, who is going to be talking about how to be a confident queen. Now, Rachel has an incredible story, and you know, she talks about ministry a lot and how to bring in your ministry into your business. And so on the couch with me is Rache-Yvonne, and I'm so excited to bring her because she has an incredible story. So welcome, Rache-Yvonne.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, Pam. I'm excited to talk about this with you today.
Yes. I've been waiting to have you on this couch for a long time, just so you know. It's really good to have you, hon. Really, really good. Obviously, we go back quite a long way. But way back when I was pregnant, actually, I remembered I was in a Facebook group that you were running, and you and a few other members actually organized a mini baby shower for me.
Yes, a surprise.
A surprise. And I think that was when I really understood what sisterhood was. Because at that time, you didn't even know me. You barely knew me. And none of the other ladies really knew me. And you all went out of your way to organize something. And I think, looking back, that's something that I will always remember, that total strangers did this thing for me. Which leads me to sisterhood, which is a huge thing that you are a big advocate for. So if we just go back a little bit further, I know that you are you're a coach. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I do quite a few things, and I'm one of the people that believes that you can be a multi-passionate entrepreneur. That sometimes you can actually use all of your gifts in order to bring income into your family and into your life. And so I sing, I lead worship at churches, I write songs for other people. I also do backing singing, and I think around the time that you joined the group, I was on X Factor, so there's that as well. And I also speak at churches, events, and then I coach. I'm a success coach for women in ministry and women in leadership.
Yes, absolutely. You do a lot. Even I'm just like, whoo. So how do you keep organized though, right? For a woman who is so busy, a lot of our lucrative ladies who are watching are going to have probably a lot of that on their plate, as well as being a mom, you know, to lots of children, or, you know, probably also having a full-time job. So how do you keep organized and, you know, just without losing your head? Tell me.
I think the main thing is to have patience with yourself and to know that you're going to make mistakes, like you're going to mess up your timetable, which I have done even with you. So sometimes you have to have grace for yourself. I realize that a lot of people don't have grace for themselves. So you need to first remember that you can't serve from an empty cup. So So someone was asking me this week about how they're having to sacrifice, like doing their hair and things like that, and things aren't going well in their business. I said, stop for a moment. You need to make sure you put your hair appointment back at the top of the priority list, and then we'll talk about business afterwards. Tell me how you feel about your business after you've looked after yourself well.
Wow.
And I think that's the number one thing, is realizing that you need to work on your spiritual practice.
Yes.
For us as Christians, things like prayer, fasting, going to church, reading your Bible, listening to spiritual music, those things really help us to stay grounded. So those are the things I would say first of all.
So how has that impacted you then, on a personal level? Can we talk about some situations where, you know, that's really impacted you? Because as a Christian myself, I totally get it. I think that if you are in this online space, God help you. Like, God help you on a serious level. And yes, you know, reading the Bible, just being grounded, all of that is just so important in a world where there's just so many things happening, so many parts are moving, lots of people are launching, and someone sneezes and 7 figures jumps out, and you're looking at your newsfeed and you're just like, why not me?
Right.
How do you stay grounded, especially if you are at the very early stages of your business?
I think it's coming back to why. Always coming back to why. Why are you doing this? Because it has to be more than just the money.
Yes.
Because you know, millionaires will tell you that there comes a point where they realize, actually, I have to be doing this for more than just the money, because money will not really heal the hurts in your heart. Because if you're looking for people to celebrate you, people to, you know, say that you're great, what about the day when they don't say that you're great? What are you going to do then? So it always comes back down to that main reason of, why are you in business? Why are you in ministry? Why are you doing what you're doing? What makes you get up in the morning? That's what I would tell anybody, no matter what stage you're at in your business.
Definitely. And what is your why? Why do you wear so many hats, and you wear them so beautifully, and you manage to do it so well, you know, or so it seems, right? What is your why, and what is it that pushes you forward to keep going over and over again?
There's this one thing that I read one time, and it says, do it so that the one girl that hears what you have to say knows that they don't have to be quiet. So I do it because I've been to missions all over the world. I've been to India, I've been to different parts of Africa, and I've seen where your one word can really impact a girl who's not allowed to read, who's not allowed to be taught. And if they can see that you're allowed to do it, and that you can do it in the midst of hard times, in the midst of adversities, then you know, we might feel like we've got been dealt a bad hand at life, but actually things are not quite as bad as they could be. I was measuring my year, and some things that happened this year have been absolutely, I guess, life-shattering. But when I look at it, it could have been worse. And I thank God that the ability to still be able to speak and to have a sound mind are completely underrated in this day and age. And I do it because of that, because I know that if I don't speak, there could be just one person. If only one person gets free because of what I say, it's absolutely worth it.
Absolutely. And I love that. And speaking about looking back over your year, I remember a few months ago, there was something that came out. It was actually a friend who sent me the message and says, oh, you know Rache-Yvonne? And I said, yes. And she said, oh, have you heard this? And I said, not really. I'm not on social media. What is it you want to, you know, what's going on? And of course, I reached out to you to check on you, not to pry or whatever, but just to see if you're okay, try to, you know, talk to you and so on, to check in on you. But today we're talking about how to be a confident queen. And I have to tell you that, looking back over that situation, which, if you're okay, I'd like us to talk about, that was where I really saw what being a confident queen looks like. You know, in the face of adversity, in the face of people in your face, and, you know, they're being quite negative. Oftentimes, can we just share a little bit of light for our lucrative ladies, what happened? And then I want to just move into, you know, what happened afterwards and how we got here.
Yeah, sure. So I really think that when we are in the spotlight, when we are people who want to be, you know, we're big on business, we're big in the social media space. You know, I know you've done acting, I've done singing, we've been on television. Your life is now open for scrutiny. Little decisions that you make that the regular Joe down the road makes every single day. But when you do it, it becomes a big news story. So I was going through a hard time in my previous marriage, and I had stepped out in my marriage, actually, and there was a video of me and another person, and it became like this thing that was on the internet, which actually I didn't even know about until someone sent me the link. I guess the same way they sent it to you, and you're like, oh, that's actually me. You know, I don't really want everyone to see this. By the time I had seen it, there were like 30,000 views, and I didn't even know what to do. I just was like, first of all, how did this get here?
Yeah.
And secondly, oh my God, this number is growing like every minute.
Yeah.
Like the more, and I just didn't know what to do. And I think the first thing I had to realize was that actually that was me. Like, I think people try to deny things and be like, oh, it's not me, or I didn't do this, blah, blah. But I think the moment you own up to being human and own up to the fact that we make mistakes and we do things that we shouldn't do, and you own up to that, I think for me, being someone who's a confident person and a queen as well, is understanding that I have the power to make choices.
Yes.
And that not every single choice I make is going to be amazing.
Because you're human.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do things that we shouldn't do, and we put ourselves into situations. I will never be the kind of person who comes here and blames other people for things that happen to me in my life. There are many things that happen to us that we actually put ourselves in that situation. Yeah. So I take complete full ownership, and I have done, and I will always do that. And I think the hardest thing about it is the fact that even when we get things removed off the internet, it's never really removed off the internet.
It's not gone anywhere.
Right, exactly. Like, I know people still have this thing on their phone and things like that, and they might even be people that I know. Yeah. People that I don't know, strangers, that's the first thing they remember. Those who are in that space, they remember that, or they will say, oh, do you know that's the girl that so-and-so, blah, blah, blah.
And they start to link you,
absolutely,
attach you to something that, you know, is in your past because you've moved so far forward.
Right. Yeah. And also, I think the important thing as well was I knew that when it did come out, that actually wasn't the date that they said it happened. Right. And I think because I had already dealt with it, I had already dealt with the situation because it was over a year old. Yeah. Oh. I had already dealt with the situation, but now I had to re-deal with the situation in front of thousands of people and be discussed by other people who don't know me, don't know the other person, they don't know my history, they don't know anything about me other than what they see or what they've heard. And I think one thing I've realized is having grace for other people. And I'm grateful that I've actually always had grace for other people. Even when we've dealt with situations with others, I've always been the person that's been like, actually, let's take a seat back. Let's just take a second, take a breath, and work out, is this the whole story? You can't really judge everything on what you see for 20 seconds or 30 seconds. Definitely. You can't judge a whole person's story. And I think that my confidence in myself was shaken. I can't lie and say it wasn't shaken, because I was just like, I have no desire for this many people to see me naked. I have no desire in the world for that. But I have to come to terms with that's a fact that has happened.
It has happened. I want to talk about the very first moment, right? When you discovered that it was out there, right? I want to talk about the emotions that happened. And the reason I say that is because I've had a situation, not the same exact situation, but where, you know, somebody had taken my name in a very public way. It was actually in church, unfortunately, in a very public way, and they did apologize afterwards, but the deed was done. And the moment I found out because somebody had phoned me and said, oh, Pastor so-and-so said this about you on the pulpit. You know, he didn't have 100% of the information, and I was very young, and it burnt me for a long time. Obviously, I'm older, and things will happen. And like you say, when you are in the public light, one smear is like somebody taking a massive paintbrush and painting a whole wall, right? So talk to me about the moment when you found out. What was the first, what were the emotions that went through? What did you think, and how did, you know, the flesh want to deal with it versus what did happen?
Yeah, so a really good friend sent me a message. I don't know, I guess someone sent him the message because he wasn't, you know, following the person that actually put it out. And so he sent me the message, was like, I know you're sleeping, but when you wake up, this is what you're going to see.
Why does this happen when we're sleeping?
Right. Well, because it was released in America, and I guess in the evening I must have been like sleeping. So he was like, I know you're sleeping, but when you wake up, just so you know, I want you to know that I know, and that this is what's going to happen today. Just be prepared. So when I saw that, obviously by then there were like thousands and thousands of messages, Twitter retweets and Facebook inboxes, but I didn't know what it was about until I saw my friend's message. I was like, what? So my first response was, oh no, it's out. That was my first thing, was like, oh no, what am I going to do? Like, I just thought. And then the second thing was, how do I get rid of this? Yeah. And it was just like,
damage control.
Yeah. How do we, what is our next step?
Yeah.
So I tried not to stress, but it was really hard not to. I tried not to get super stressed, but it was really hard not to. I spoke to the person that I was in the video with, and we were just like, okay, the best thing to do is just say nothing. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to say nothing. So I tried my best to say nothing, just pretended like everything was normal on Facebook, on Instagram. I was just like posting as normal. My views went up. Like I had like, it was ridiculous. It was a very interesting week. That week was, I didn't eat anything that whole week. I didn't sleep because I was really trying to like not completely lose it. And then the announcements had to be made at church and things, so that was, you know, hard to do. But I think the one thing that was great was that we had actually already dealt with the situation internally. And I had already dealt with the situation.
So your family knew. So did they know already?
They kind of knew, but not to the extent
that it was published.
Yes. So like it was just, it's a bit different when there's hard evidence. You know what I mean? That's a bit different than me telling you that I did something. Do you see? But when you see it in the flesh, it's a bit different. So I guess dealing with that was hard. But I think the main thing was, I always say this, like, you can rise from anything. And I've been saying this for years. So it's just like, Rachel, now is a really good opportunity to practice what you preach. And the grace, you know, I'm so grateful for the grace that certain people showed me. Obviously, some people will never talk to me again. And that's fine. I will let them be where they're at. Because we're all at different stages in our levels of understanding of other people. And I'm okay with that. I think that's fine.
Speaking about grace, there is another area where I have truly seen you be a confident woman, and that was, of course, in your marriage and when it ended, right? And I have a lot of friends who are in marriages who are either unhappy. I have lots of friends who are happy in their marriage, just so you all know. But I do have some friends who are unhappy in their marriage, or some friends whose marriages have ended, and they're really struggling to pick themselves up. And again, that's another area where it's almost like being a woman in ministry. I feel like you're ticking the box for like taboo.
Unintentionally. I didn't even know this was going to be my life.
I know, but you are really rising really well from it. So what would you say? Let's say we have a lucrative lady who's watching this, and perhaps she's in a position where she's had lots of adversity. Perhaps it's similar to the one you've just described, where there's a video, you know, floating about the internet that you don't want people to see, or perhaps it's a breakdown in a marriage. But this breakdown is so tough that she's struggling to move forward in her business. What would you say to her?
I would say that you have to come back to who you are. And understand that your situations that you go through do not define you. It's God who defines you. And he doesn't change the way he defines you based on your experiences. He doesn't change how he treats you based on your experiences. You will still be his son, his daughter. You will still be that person. Your purposes will not be changed because of the things you do. But if you make a decision that I'm going to lay back for my purpose, that's on you. We can't blame him or blame anyone else. Because when you've been called to do something, your calling will not be taken away from you. So it's now you got to decide for yourself, have I truly been called? Because if you haven't, great, you can pack up, stop doing what you're doing and move on, go and do something else. But if you know, truly know, deeply know that you've been called to do this, then you have to get yourself up. Because like I said earlier, for that one person needs to hear your voice. For that one person that you can free just by you getting up in the morning. And it is hard. I'm not going to lie and sit here and say that it's easy every single day. But it is easier because I understand who I am. And I know that, you know, that I have the confidence in God, in who I am, and that reliance in the fact that no matter what, I am still loved, that I'm still chosen. So when you know that grace is available to you, then you understand that. I think a lot of people don't realize that they have grace, so they are hard on themselves because because you don't believe in the grace that you speak about. I think that's the main thing, believing in that grace and knowing that, okay, maybe I need to take a break, go on a spa, go on a holiday, turn your phone off, look after you, sleep, pray, whatever you need to do, and having good people around you really helps as well. I know sometimes it can be hard to find good friends like that, but I am very, very grateful. I'm grateful for the friends that left me. That's a blessing.
That is amazing.
Yeah, because in this situation, there are people that have actually blocked me and like said some interesting things about me on their own social medias. And then other people were like, hey, isn't that supposed to be your best friend? And I'm like, it is supposed to be, but I guess we're not anymore. So it's knowing that people are going to leave you, but know that you never leave you.
Definitely.
That's really
because
important.
the journey to where you're going, you can't go with baggage.
No.
You can't go with an entourage and groups and communities of people. And one thing that I have found on my journey is that God places other people around you.
Yeah.
You pick up a community.
You do.
As you were going, look at the lucrative lady. Who knew? That we would have a community of people who are, out there coming and showing up to things and doing things and just really supporting. We didn't know that. So you're absolutely right. Sometimes you're going to need to drop some people and sometimes they're going to drop you.
Yeah.
But you just have to have the mindset that you will pick up other people along the way and others will pick you up.
And it's seasonal.
Yes.
I'm learning that also, is that everybody isn't meant to be with you for the long run.
This is it.
And then
I struggled with this. I have to just confess. This was a big struggle for me, the whole seasonal thing and friendships and so on. Really big struggle. Can you just shed some light on that? Talking about the seasons and friendships and just really understanding that not everybody's supposed to be with you.
No.
And how do you... If that season has ended and perhaps often you're unaware, actually, you're just like, well, where's this person gone? And, we used to talk all the time and you used to be my ride or die and do lots of things. And all of a sudden it's just like they're ride or dying with somebody else. How do you deal with that?
It is painful and it is something that, as leaders, this is what I read the other day. One of my friends posted this, that pioneers, it's never been done before. So that means that when you are the visionary, when you are the leader for something, it means that you're doing something that nobody else is doing. So sometimes you're gonna have to do it alone. Obviously, we know we're never really alone because we have God, but in terms of human help, you might not go with someone. There might be times that even if you are in a happy marriage, that your husband might not even be on the same page just for a moment, but you might have to lead or do something that God has told you to do, or in yourself that you're supposed to do, that they might not be on board with for the moment. And that can't distract you. You have to understand that there are going to be people that you're with for the long haul, and your relationships will also change with those people. Because I've got friends that I've known since I was a child, that I grew up with in church, who are no longer close with me, but we're still friends.
Of course.
But I don't talk to them about my problems or anything like that, because I know they can't handle that part of me anymore.
No.
Because of where I am right now, they can't handle the vulnerabilities that I will need to share with them because of where they are in life.
That's right.
And it's not negative. I have other friends for that type of thing. I have other people who have been through similar situations as me, who are in the similar platforms and are at a similar level in their ministry. I talk to those people about those things, and then my family, we talk about other things. So you got to learn how to compartmentalize your relationships.
That's so important. That's so important because it stops you feeling animosity and feeling like you are bereaved.
And love them from afar.
Love them from afar. That's right. No matter how far it is, it's perfect. Love them from afar. So really quickly, what does it mean to be a confident queen? And what does it mean to be a confident queen when it comes to business? How has that impacted your business? Because obviously you had all of this stuff happen, a bit of a scandal, a bit of a taboo and all of those things, but you've managed to rise through it all and you've become really confident and your business has actually flourished. Right? Can we just talk about that very briefly?
I think for me, because my business is me, I think that's what makes a difference. I think if you're running a business and you are the personal brand of your business, then people don't buy products from you, they buy you.
That's right.
So I think the reason why my business and my ministry, I've got way more speaking bookings since this whole thing has happened, just because of the vulnerability and the ability to be human and
That's
to like confession, like just be like, yeah, it was me.
That's it.
And
So
this is it, like, this is me and I'm really sorry, but this is me and this is my human side. And I think being a confident queen is about being sure in who you are. And a queen is someone who is powerful, who knows that she has the power to make choices. And it also means that you're able to be benevolent, you're able to be compassionate to those people who are, coming up behind you. I wouldn't say below you, but they're coming behind you. You're able to wield power in that way that you can open up the door for someone else. So that where you have arrived in life, give someone else the permission to do the same. Not permission to do wrong, but allows them to see, don't do this, because if you do, this is what's going to happen.
Yes.
So you let people know that if you date this person and you don't look at the red flags that have come up in your relationship, when you get married, that red flag is actually going to expand and not decrease. So then I can show you an example. I can say, hey, this is what I did. I suggest you don't do that.
Yes.
Or this is what happens here. So then that's what I mean by being a queen and a confident one, is that you know who you are, what you've been called to do, and knowing what you carry, so that you can also show other people the same way.
Do you know, I feel like you and I could have a whole segment just on marriage and relationships.
Absolutely.
Because you've said a few things that I know that we haven't even delved into, but I know a lot of people are going to be like, I want to jump in on this, and so on. So very quickly, if I were to ask you, what are your 5 rules for success when it comes to being a confident queen in business, what would they be?
I would say to make sure your self-care is up to par. I am a huge advocate for that. Self-care, hair, makeup, nails, lashes, it doesn't matter what it is for you. You need to know what that is for you. Sleep as well is important. I think my second thing would be your spiritual practice. Spirituality is very important for me in my business. So prayer, fasting, reading my Bible, being around faith friends that are really good too. Nice. The other thing would be getting super clear on who your ideal client is and who your ideal client is not. So there are people that don't like me. That's fine, because I'm not for them.
That's okay.
You've actually got to be okay with the people who don't want to be around you. Absolutely fine. So have a thick skin would be the next thing. But have a thick skin and know that there are people who aren't going to like you. And that's great, because the more that you understand that is the more you can get closer to who you're supposed to be called to.
That's right.
And I think the last thing would be to have fun. Like life, don't take life too seriously. Life is to be lived, it's to be enjoyed. Enjoy your life. Have fun, enjoy your life. That's the last one I would say.
I love that. No, absolutely. You've got to, you know, what is the point? Why are we accumulating all of this wealth and hustling and doing all of these things if you're not building something that you can actually love and enjoy? But I really love the part about understanding who your ideal clients are, because when all is said and done, no matter how confident you are, if that money isn't coming in, there's a problem.
There is a problem.
There's a big problem, and the foundation of solving that problem is definitely to understand who your ideal clients are and who they're not, which you rightly said, and being being polarizing, like you said. Not everybody is going to be for you. Be okay with it. Absolutely. How did you embrace the need to deal with the scandal? So how did you deal with it, and how did you embrace that? What was that like for you?
I think there was actually no choice. Because when something is so public and it is being discussed, without your consent, and it's being talked about without your knowledge, and I didn't even realize this was happening until I'm getting tagged and people are telling me, and I'm just like, do I respond publicly or not? I think you got to decide. It's a defining moment. What am I here for? What am I called to? Am I going to allow this to change who I am, or am I going to allow it to continue to make who I am? And I think I just made a decision, and I just decided, like, my parents were like, whatever I decide, they were fine. So if I never ever wanted to do ministry again, they'll be fine. Actually, they might prefer it, to be honest. But if I decided I was going to, my dad just says, you're going to have to work and regain and build up your reputation, and you know that. And I said, I know that. And he was like, yeah, I know you know. Just wanted to say it. And nice. I think it's just that choice of knowing that it is hard to deal with, and it is difficult to deal with, but I deal with it every single day. Like, I had a guy that was interested in dating me, and his friend showed him the video. I had already told him. Oh my God. But it's different when I tell you than when your friend goes, hey, are you sure you want to date? Are you sure you want to date this girl? Really? Because this happened. And I said to him, okay, first of all, I told you about this a long time ago. Secondly, imagine how I feel. I deal with this every day, knowing that this could be the first thing that someone says, that when they introduce me, they'll be like, they'll send you a text and be like, oh, by the way, this is that girl. Do you know what I mean? So imagine that that's something I have to deal with every single day, and realize that actually, God, I'm not going to allow this to derail me from the plans that you have for me, because I know they're always to prosper me. That even if I make a mistake or I do things that are wrong, I can use it as an example of your grace and how you can absolutely rise from anything, which I say all the time anyway.
That's right. And so did he date you?
I mean,
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I just want to know if you know, if he was an honourable man or not.
No, he's great, but we're...
Okay, fantastic, brilliant. Yeah. And if he didn't, he obviously doesn't deserve you.
No,
So
I mean, it's his choice, though. I understand.
I know, and there could be other reasons that he didn't. There could be other reasons as to why he didn't.
Yeah.
So
but that was just a
this.
discussion. Like, I was grateful that he was open to the discussion.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I can ask.
And it was great that you warned him.
Yeah.
I think
gosh.
And this is the thing, again, going back to ownership. If you drop the ball, pick it up. You know, if you need to apologize and say sorry, whatever it is. I think as a lucrative lady, ownership is just so important and so on. So yeah, I think the fact that you had warned him and you're warning people.
Within the second conversation with almost everybody, especially if they're in the church world, I tell them straight away, I'm like, hey, by the way, you do know that this is me. And they're like, oh yeah, we knew that. And we move on. But I just want to make sure because I don't want it to come up later.
No, absolutely. Hello, lucrative ladies. As you guys know, my mission in life is to help you to create a lucrative business and life that you love. And it is because of that we created the Lucrative Business Academy. Our goal with the Lucrative Business Academy is to provide you with the curriculum, coaching, and community to help you to take your business to the next level. LBA will provide you with the necessary step-by-step process to help you take your business forward. So whether you are just starting out in business, or perhaps you are more established but you want to get high-paying clients, or you are ready to scale your business, or perhaps you are stuck and just want to be unstuck. Well, the truth is that there are core principles for every single one of those, and that's where the Lucrative Business Academy comes in. We have 5 core areas inside the Lucrative Business Academy, and the first is, of course, our amazing courses. Take a look at everything that's waiting for you inside of the Academy. And every single month, that list increases because we are constantly adding new courses based on what our members need. As well as our amazing courses, you also have access to a live 2-hour masterclass with yours truly every single month, where we get to dive deep on a specific area of your business as voted by the community. So this is a great opportunity for you to engage, have your questions answered, and of course get unstuck and get coaching right on the spot. The third thing the Lucrative Business Academy offers are our amazing global networking event. That's right. So you can join us online for our global networking event where you get to connect with members all across the world. Inside of our networking event, you get access to 3 guaranteed one-to-one appointments, which gives you the opportunity for joint ventures, collaborations, and of course a great way to meet your ideal clients. The fourth thing that the Lucrative Business Academy offers are of course our amazing speaking opportunities. That's right, we offer our members speaking opportunities both offline and online inside of our networking events and our live events. So as a member, you get to flex your muscles on the stage, in person or online in front of a global audience, which is an incredible way to build your brand. And last but certainly not least, as a member of the Lucrative Business Academy, you get access to an amazing community of other lucrative ladies who are on the same journey as you and are waiting to cheer you on, helping you to achieve your goals and of course provide accountability so that you are not going this journey alone. Now, the Lucrative Business Academy pricing starts as low as $49 per month, and you get a huge discount if you buy the whole year upfront. I think that the Lucrative Business Academy is one of the best things that we have ever created. And if you are ready to scale your business quickly, then we invite you to join us today. So to do that, all you have to do is head to the link in the description or head to this link, academy.thelucrativelady.com/yes, and you can get in right now. That is academy.thelucrativelady.com/yes, and you can get access right now to all of the coaching, support, community, and everything that you have inside of the Lucrative Business Academy. So with that being said, I look forward to seeing you on the inside, my friend. Until then, make sure you create a lucrative business and life that you love. See you later, lucrative lady.
Gosh.
like I said, we could have a whole other segment with you on so many different topics, and I don't even say that lightly. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's been wonderful to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. What an honor.
Amazing.